we're gonna be talking about a TV show here. And Wilk, do you have some news for the people?
So, ladies and gentlemen, I am so bad at finishing TV. Well, no, I'll take that back. I'm so bad at like actually sitting down to watch TV. Okay, like I much more rather watch a story in 2 hours. Cole knows it. Probably anyone who knows me knows it. However, when Severance first dropped their first trailer, I mentioned to Cole that that show looked very interesting, but it's on Apple TV Plus, so I'm not going to be able to watch it. I don't even know. I guess Cole had Apple TV Plus or Apple TV at the time. He I don't whenever he watched it, told me great things. Obviously, he was very nice. Last week, he signed the Apple TV on my TV at the house, so I decided to watch Severance. Now, I watched Severance, all 9 episodes,
And
and
the new episode and episode one with it was less than 24 hours.
it was probably about 18 hours. And I had to go to class in the morning. And when I got back, I got home, I grabbed lunch, got home, sat on the couch, and watched the new episode for this week. I'll talk about episode one, or not episode one. I'll talk about the first season, then we can go into like the new season. The first season is easily easy like easily one of the best seasons of television I have ever watched. The acting, the like the visualization, the mood that it creates, the tension that it creates, the chemistry between the characters, the way it's shot, the way it's told,
Or
it is incredible. It is like if you have not seen it and you don't have Apple TV, bum someone's Apple TV, find a way to watch it. It is outstanding. It is one of the best series I have watched thus far. The first season is almost perfect. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And Cole made a joke that, well, I guess we can give spoilers. It's been out for however long. The cliffhanger at the end of season one, I feel bad for Cole waiting 3 or 4 years or however many years he had to wait for that. Because I just rolled into the next episode. It is absolutely incredible. Adam Scott is unreal. I just only remember him in like funny roles. And
me too.
he in this, I don't understand, man. I just can go and talk about it all day. It is seriously one of the best like stories. What they did in season one and what they're building upon in season two. The episodes feel like 5 minutes long.
I know, dude. They roll by so quickly. Unlike a lot of other shows, they really do roll by quick.
It is not a drag to watch any episode in season one because the first episode you sit down, you don't know a lot, and you were just like, what, like, okay, what's supposed to go wrong? What is going on here? What are they doing? What are they doing for work? And then you meet Helly, you meet Dylan, you meet Irving. Later, you meet Christopher Walken's character. You figure out like what I mean. One of the greatest just plot twist in the middle of the season ever. The cliffhanger is unreal. The opening scene of season two is one of the best things you'll ever watch. I'm sure you've seen it on Twitter if you haven't seen it. Dude, I could go on and on and on and on about this show. But right now, season one is so far up there. And I'm so glad that I was actually Cole was nice enough to give me Apple TV.
I basically had to sit your ass down and get you to watch it though. But once you started, you were able
Didn't
to keep
stop.
going.
Didn't
So,
stop. Did not.
uh, yeah, no, that show is just unreal. Like I said, it hadn't been quite 3 years. I think I probably got on it a couple months late, but it was at least like 2.5 years since I watched it that I had to wait for that. Um, yeah, so you're a lucky little asshole for getting to do that and and just flip right next to the next one like
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, dude, everything I've been telling you for weeks, like it is the show right now. Other than The Bear, like I think it's like the show right now. I think like just in like public and on Twitter and at work and things like that, I think it's the most talked about show since Game of Thrones. The Bear, maybe. People do love The Bear when it comes out and everyone likes to talk about it, but I think Severance, just because of the type of show that it is, like everyone comes to work and they're like, "You watch Severance?" Um, People that I didn't even know at work like liked stuff like that. Like asked me, "Hey, have you seen Severance?" And I was like, "Oh, have I?"
Yeah.
Um, but like a lot of people are talking about it. It's all over my Twitter. Um, Everyone loves it. Like I have not seen one person have a bad thing to say about it. And so to like you said, to have that kind of a first season, that caliber of a first season to roll into a new season, I mean, you got a lot of pissed off fans that have been waiting for 3 years. You got to nail it. You got to hit it out of the park. And
Yeah.
so far, 2 episodes in, man, they have done it. So season or episode one came out a couple weeks ago. I kind of touched on it a little bit last week. But now that you're finally all caught up and you've watched everything, we can kind of talk about episode two a little bit. So,
Mhm.
in episode one, you kind of catch up with the innies, and see what
That's
they're
it.
up
You
to.
only you
You
only
only
catch
catch
up
up
with
with the
it.
innies, and then this episode, you get to catch up with the outies and the immediate aftermath of what happened. Um, I thought it was kind of wild that, in episode one, the innies were told like it had been 5 or 6 months or something,
Hmm.
and that they were heroes on the outside. Um,
Yep.
Not true at all.
Nope.
It was only a couple days.
It
It was
was
only a couple
it was over
days.
the course of a weekend, I believe,
Yeah.
is
And then
what
they
we
were there
find
like the
out.
next day. Yeah. Um, yeah. So two very different episodes. It's so wild. These actors are just unbelievable because the differences in the characters that they play on each side.
You're playing two
They're
characters.
playing they're playing two different characters. Um, it's unreal. It's absolutely unreal. Um, And then I'm sure if you're listening, you've seen this all over Twitter, but the last scene in um in episode two lines up perfectly with the scene of them like entering in episode one. Like literally to the split second. It's unbelievable. Obviously that's done with intention. Like they knew what they were doing. Um it's so much thought and care went into it, and the fact that like the mind behind Zoolander is the one that like came up with this
Yeah.
and is spearheading the whole thing
Yeah.
just blows my mind. Yeah, no, unbelievable stuff. It's funny, it's heartwarming, it's got a little bit of a romance, and then it's just psychological and thrilling. Like it literally has everything. It
Yeah.
has everything. Everything you could want. I literally think anybody could watch it. It's a very complex concept, but I think I think they like dumb it down enough for you to where it like makes sense. It's easily digestible. So, man, I can't
And
say enough
they
about the show.
and and usually with a lot of shows, like you'll have one or two main characters that get like fully fledged out, like, and you really feel for them. But I really feel like there's eight freaking characters that like you really care about, not counting like the people that, if you want to do, we'll go with like Mark's sister or Mrs. Selvig or anything like that. But the four main characters who have their innies and outies, what we learned over the course of a whole season about them. Like even Dylan, who we saw, what, 5 seconds as an outie when he was in the closet, and like what he learns from the outie and like what we get in season two with his interview process and everything like that. Like,
Yeah, I thought that side of it was super cool too. It's like kind of seeing like the aftermath of that, and you get to like spend a little more time with these characters. You got obviously we spend more time with Helena,
yeah,
Helena Egan, seeing how like her mind's operating, handling the whole situation. With Dylan, you kind of get
hmm,
more behind the scenes of like what's going on with him. He's struggling finding a job after getting
yeah.
fired, and nobody wants to hire people that have been severed. Um, and
Dude,
then
that door interview was like, that was so, when he was like, "What
like,
kind of
oh,
door
what's your
would
favorite
you?"
kind of door?
He goes, pocket."
Pocket door? Nah.
uh,
But it's really cool that we're getting like a little more insight and depth from these smaller characters like
yeah,
Dylan and Irving.
yeah,
Um, Let I do want to talk about like Helena. Still wild. Do you think do you think that we have seen Helly R this season yet, or have we only seen Helena?
I mean, I don't
Who
know.
went down?
It's huh?
Who went down and who came out of the elevator?
You know, when we saw her Audi go down or whatever, she was. Somebody said something about she. We were the only. That was the only character that we didn't hear a ding for. So I'm wondering if that was Helena or however you say her name. Egan, that traitor. That we did not get Helly R that went back down here. And I'm pretty sure, when you're watching the show for the first time or you're watching an episode, there are small details that I feel like you miss. That's why I kind of like going on Twitter or X after the fact, because you might see some things that you may have missed. So you're like, oh yeah, now that you mention that, like apparently she was confused by the hug, and now what you see in episode 2 where she's watching Mark and Helly kiss in the scene, like she's replaying it over and over and over again.
Yeah, bro, she's getting jealous of her innie. She's lived in like corporate life her whole life,
Yeah,
running a company, and her innie is living a more like personally fulfilling life
exactly.
than she is, and she's
Exactly.
jealous. She was literally watching Mark leave the parking lot.
Yeah.
Like wild stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, but yeah, no, I don't think that we've seen Helly R yet. I think it's been Helena. I don't know how she's able to like go to the severed floor like unaffected. I don't know if she has like maybe since she's like CEO or whatever, if she can just like switch it off,
Well, she
or
could have had her chip
maybe
pulled
she had the
out.
procedure done, but then we
Yeah.
saw the effects from the last guy from season one who had the procedure done. Like he couldn't even barely function.
Well,
Um,
that was the whole reintegration thing. I'm wondering if there's like, if because remember Miss Selvig the whole time, and you were getting the vibe that Mrs. Selvig wanted to see reintegration in a safe way. Because remember when she put him through the wellness check with Mrs. Casey and Mark in the last time, and they were talking about how he wanted to get her out of there, stuff like that. Remember, and she was watching very intently, and when he finally said like it feels like that's the right thing to do, or it feels like the right thing for us, or something like that. She got disappointed because I think she really wanted Mark to remember Gemma. I really do. Like, I think that was a little part of that interaction. Mrs. Selvig with a bomb drop at the end of episode 2, which is prefaced by the funniest line in the show, maybe. I ate your shitty fucking cookies. Like, that is hilarious. That's
yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember busting out laughing. But
and
yeah,
she's acting weird, and he's like, do you know something about Gemma? And she has the outburst, which is odd because Mrs. Selvig doesn't do that, even though her innie or whoever, what's her name
Miss
downstairs?
Cobell, but Miss Cobell isn't severed. She's
Yeah,
not.
no, I know that, but she still acts like
She
she
acts
acts
different on
like
the
it's too.
outside, but now that he knows, like she's basically Miss Selvig basically doesn't exist anymore. It's
Yeah.
just Harmony Cobell.
Yeah, but
But
we
yeah,
haven't
I
seen
think
the outburst part, so when she drives away, at the end.
yeah, yeah,
Somebody knows something about KC slash Gemma or whatever, and hopefully that's a big part. I would
yeah.
imagine that's a
We
big part
can
of this season.
so we can close out on that. Like, what are they doing? What is going on at Lumen? Why do they need Marquez so bad? Because he was the only one they like focused trying to get back.
Absolutely.
And he basically said, "I'm not working
I want my team. Yeah.
unless you bring my team back."
My confusion is with because you were trying to be with the fact like, oh, maybe she died and he never saw her body and she's just down there severed. But he goes in this episode, he says, I identified her body. So he saw the dead body. He knows he identified the dead body. I don't
That's
know, man.
that's yeah. That's when I like when he said that in this episode, I was like,
Yeah.
how?
Yeah.
Um,
I was the same
that
way.
that leads me to believe maybe cloning.
Maybe.
Maybe maybe they're doing cloning. I have no idea if he actually saw her body, then I don't know.
I'm
Because
with you.
I don't think that was ever really said in the first season that he saw a body, but
It was in this season.
yeah, they made sure to make it a point. Um, so like before he said that, I was said, maybe she's been in on it the whole time or something. But now that he saw her body,
So my only like pushback on that is that she had an identifying tattoo slash birthmark or mole or something. He didn't see her face. He saw that part. So he didn't see a face. He saw like an identifying mark on her where he was like, "Yeah, that's Gemma."
maybe I don't
That's the
know.
only thing I can come up with.
He did say identify the body, so I mean, I guess we'll probably get some kind of answer about all that. Hopefully in the next couple weeks. I guess we'll see. I don't
I
know,
hope
but
next episode,
man,
man. I don't know how people do this watching it weekly.
I'm so
It
glad
sucks.
that you're now on the train.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, we can't stress to y'all enough like how elite this show is.
yeah.
It's in the status of like The Bear, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, like shows you have to watch. And the fact that we only have 11 episodes of it, I think,
Says
total
a
right
lot.
now.
Says a
And
lot.
like every episode is a 10 out of 10.
Well, when
Um,
people put the Bear in that category, I mean, they only had 2 seasons at the time, you know.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Now they got three and we got a fourth coming, but Severance, I think, has already been renewed for seasons three and maybe four. I know at least three was announced. I can't remember if it was three and four, but
shout out
uh,
Ben Stiller, man. He has done something with this show. He has united like media together. Everyone knows how. Like you don't see a bad word about Severance on anything. Not one.
nope, no, no. I do think everybody can enjoy it.
It just keeps you guessing, dude. Like you're sitting there watching the show, and they'll throw something at you, and just when you think like you're trying to like follow along, they'll throw a wrench in it, and you'll be like, dude, what?
I know it's hard watching shows weekly, but it kind of just gets me back into like that like prime TV watching like feel.
Hmm.
Like back in the day, for us it was different because we would like weekly we wait for like the new iCarly episode or something like that.
I
But
did it with The Walking Dead all the way for seven
yeah,
seasons.
yeah, yeah, and I did for some shows as well too. Like when the first time I watched like All American, um, a couple other shows like before streaming was like really big. You had to
Green
wait.
Arrow is another, or Arrow, sorry, was another one.
You had to wait a week in between each episode.
Yeah,
So I know a lot of people complain like, "Oh, I want to binge it all now." I kind of like having one episode a week because then you have a week to talk about it and theorize and
yeah.
like see everyone's thoughts and like
For
dissect
this
the
show,
episode.
for this show gives you a week to figure out what the heck just happened.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, I'm loving what they're doing. I'm glad they're having a lot of success. Everyone needs to run to Apple TV. It's the cheapest streaming service. It's only $9.99. You can get a free trial. We're not. I mean, I wish this was an ad, but it's not. It's just genuinely like everyone needs to download it because the content on Apple TV is just unmatched.
yeah,
The only thing
I think
that
I'm
even
starting
comes
my next
close,
show on Apple TV will be the
the
next one.
the only TV show streaming service that rivals it is uh, Max.
Yeah.
HBO still cranks out some of the best shows, but other than that, like it's Apple TV. Apple TV
Yes,
so good.
Max and Apple TV right now. I think I mean Amazon Prime has the one that everybody loves right now is The Boys and Gen V, so you have that on Amazon. But yeah, no, like if you go series for series, it's Max and Apple.